Lot 71 is Robert Frank's classic of photographic literature, Les Américains. Published in Paris in 1958, the book is a watershed in the genre of photographic literature. When we think of the photo book, we think of Robert Frank because he's someone who really understood that the book is an art form, that the book is the foundation of photographic expression. And in the 1950s, when he first emigrated to the United States from Switzerland and was taking pictures, there were no galleries showing photography. There were very few museums who accepted photography as a fine art form. So what was a photographer to do? So in a sense, the sequence of images in this book become a situation where the whole is really greater than the sum of its parts. And there are curators and collectors who recognize that having this book really serves as the full expression of Frank's vision. Certainly, Frank's take on the United States in the 1950s was distinctly un-American. This was the Eisenhower years, a kind of merry, happy-go-lucky, military-industrial complex period where everyone was kind of in denial. And this guy comes along and he is photographing this sort of underbelly of American life. And the reception was not exactly positive. But what's happened over the last 50 years, and this is the 50th anniversary, is that it's come to be seen as one of the most important photo books ever published. The copy of Les Américains that we're offering is a very special copy indeed. This book was published in a trade edition, but the copy that we're offering is from the library of Francis Couturier, a friend and colleague of Frank's. So the book is personalized, it's inscribed and signed, but in addition, there's an original vintage photograph affixed to the half title of the book that really gives it a very special presentation. In addition to the French edition of Les Américains, we are offering the American edition, the Grove Press edition, published the following year in 1959, as well as a host of other really wonderful Robert Frank titles. New York is, The Lines of My Hand, which is also being offered with an original photograph and is a signed copy. So the Frank materials in this sale really give the sale a very unique dimension. Part 2 of our May 15th auction features photographs. We'll be offering more than 340 fine art, documentary, and contemporary artworks in the afternoon session of our sale. Among the earliest works in the photographic session is Lot 233, a very unusual and special daguerreotype of a mother nursing her infant. Daguerreotypy is one of the first forms of photographic expression, invented in 1839 by Louis-Jacques Mondet Daguerre, the French photographer, simultaneous with the salted paper print process invented in Britain by William Henry Fox Talbot. The daguerreotype really took the world by storm. And when you hold a daguerreotype in your hand, you understand why. There's a startling verisimilitude in the Daguerrean image, which really is the first hologram. It has a three-dimensional quality insofar as the image sometimes appears to hover in this almost ethereal sense over the plate. When we look at the technique of the daguerreotype, it is a unique image, it is a one-of-a-kind image that was created using a silver-coated copper plate. So in looking at the daguerreotype, the viewer will often see his or her reflection superimposed over the image itself, which of course personalizes the experience in a way that perhaps is lost to viewers of photography today. We date this image in the 1850s. There is no photographer credited. The subject herself is unknown, but the mat that protects the daguerreotype is such that we know the daguerreotype was produced probably in the late 1850s. The subject matter is really remarkable when you consider the Victorian period and the standards of propriety and good taste that really circumscribe the behavior of women. And here's this mother who has found an artist, perhaps a female, a woman daguerreotypist, because there were many women who practiced the art of daguerreotypy. And it's a very polite image, it's a very refined image, but it certainly is one of the most unique daguerreotypes I've ever seen. Lot 308 is Carl Moon's orotone of a Native American figure on horseback. Carl Moon was a painter turned photographer who learned the craft of photography working for Fred Harvey. Harvey had the largest photographic concession at the Grand Canyon, where he sold pictures of the landscape and the Native American tribes. And at that time, he was emulating works by Edward Curtis, another American photographer who focused on the Native American tribes throughout the United States. But Moon, being in the Southwest, photographed primarily the Pueblo Indians in Arizona and New Mexico. And like Curtis, he used a number of different photographic techniques, including the sepia tone gelatin silver print and the images we're offering in this sale, which are orotones. The orotone is a very striking, again, very handsome image that is actually a positive image on glass. And so the presentation of the orotone, the protection of the orotone, becomes very important, because you can't just sell a sheet of glass and expect people to walk home with it feeling satisfied. So like Edward Curtis, who designed very specialized, very beautiful frames in which to house his orotones, Moon did too. And what's really kind of extraordinary about the frames that he developed is how ornate and ostentatious they are. I mean, they certainly underscore the object-like nature of the orotone as a photographic image, and in some sense really create this kind of new decorative sensibility around the photograph. What we see is that Moon actually etched his name into the plate, and the overall presentation is such that this is an object that really holds the wall.